Hey guys, I'm back once again. I know it's been a while. Um, I'm gonna give you my review and my thoughts on X-Men Apocalypse. There might be some spoilers, but I'll let you know when I get there. I mean, there's not a lot in this movie to spoil, so I'll let you know when I get to that point where I'm gonna be talking about spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie and you want to see it and you don't want any spoilers, you can stop watching and then come back, watch it again after you've watched it. Watch this again after you've watched the movie. Um, this movie wasn't good. It wasn't horrible. It was just kind of like, whatever. Um, it's just, I don't even really know where to rank it among X-Men films. It's just like, what, how do I rank this? It's just like, kind of a whatever type of movie. Like, um, the action scenes are forgettable. Not like there's so many characters that are in it that they don't get sufficient enough. Like, they don't get fleshed out enough. Like, so you like when the big stuff happens, you don't really care. Like Psylocke and Angel and I mean Nightcrawler kind of, but I mean you kind of know him from X-Men 2 and uh so you kind of know a little bit about him from X2 X-Men United. But I mean and then Jennifer Lawrence is basically just playing Jennifer Lawrence. It's basically she's like this is another Hunger Games basically. Um because she's only like blue like maybe 3 times in the whole entire movie, maybe 4, and not for very long. Uh, the two best actors in the movie are James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender, and Magneto gets the most like character development in this one because he's been trying to be good and he has like a family and a daughter and they really go into his story and why he ends up why he gives him a really good reason for why he joins Apocalypse and becomes a horseman. Um, but the other ones are just kind of like, yeah, you want to join me? Okay, cool, power upgrade. Like Storm's just kind of like a pickpocket. Okay, I'm just gonna talk spoilers. I'm gonna talk about the movie. So I mean, if you don't want to know, then go away. But if you do want to know, then just stay and watch. And if you don't care, uh, Storm's just kind of like a pickpocket, and and he's like, I would give you power, da, 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 da. And she's like, okay, and he like gives her like power upgrade, and her hair turns white. That's why her hair is white because of Apocalypse in this movie universe apparently. Um, so she just kind of joins them, like. There's no mind control or anything. She just kind of joins them, and then they go to Caliban, who's in this movie, and he knows how to find mutants and all that stuff, and they're trying to find mutants to get more horsemen and stuff, and Psylocke tries to protect Caliban, and then like Apocalypse kind of like manipulates her, or like he's like, I can give you more power, or da da da, and she's like, okay, and like so she joins Apocalypse. So it's like as simple as that. Like, oh, I'll give you more power, or you try. He's trying. This guy Caliban's trying to control you, so I'll let you be free. And she's like, okay, I know how to find another guy. And then they go find Angel, who had his wing damaged. One of his wings damaged from this cage fight that happens earlier with Nightcrawler, where Mystique saves Nightcrawler. But so they get Angel, and like he gives them the metal wings and stuff, and and then but like the only one that really, the only horseman you really care about is Magneto, and he's like the most powerful out of all of them. The other ones don't really do much. Um, And as far as like Cyclops and Jean Grey were okay. Like they weren't really anything amazing, but they were okay. They weren't bad. Jubilee was completely wasted again. Um, the whole Wolverine cameo was kind of pointless. It was just kind of in there to have a Wolverine cameo, and like it comes out of nowhere. Like after the whole awesome Quicksilver scene where he saves everybody and like runs around and saves everybody from the explosion because um, Apocalypse came to the mansion and they took Professor X, and Havoc tries to shoot at him, and he ends up hitting like the generator or something of the house, and it starts blowing up the whole house, and it kills Havoc. But like you don't really realize, you kind of realize that's happening, but like the whole Quicksilver scene happens, so you're kind of like, oh, awesome, awesome, awesome. And then later on, when Cyclops shows up, he's like, "Where's my brother?" And like Quicksilver's like, "I'm pretty sure I got everybody out of there." And like Beast or Hank is like he's like, "Alex was closest to the blast, and so you didn't get him." So like Havoc dies, and he's kind of like brushed over, and then like Stryker shows up and like kidnaps some of the like important mutants, not Jubilee, because she leaves. They leave Jubilee there, and that's the last you see of her in the movie, basically. Um, and then they're taking to Alkali Lake, where they're doing the Weapon X program, and Jean, Cyclops, and Nightcrawler find Weapon X, Wolverine, and Jean lets him out, and he like kills all the guards. And he looks awesome because he's got the helmet thing from the comics, and he looks awesome, and it's like bloody, and he's just tearing everybody up because he's like animalistic Wolverine, and it's a pretty cool scene. It's like one of the coolest scenes in the movie, probably, besides the Quicksilver scene. The Quicksilver scene and the Wolverine scene are probably the two coolest scenes in the movie, and so that happens, and then like, Jean like talks to Wolverine and takes his helmet off and gives him some of his memories back, and like, so I guess that kind of like makes him less animalistic, and he's like, oh, I'm a man, I'm not an animal, and like then he runs off into the woods. So it's like it was like a drive-by action scene. Like Hugh Jackman's like, oh, I'm here for the day, I'm just here for the day. And like he runs off into the woods where, I'm sure the, 20th Century Fox or whatever has his check, holding his check for him. Here you go, and he like runs off and grabs it. It's kind of like almost felt like the cameo from Casper, the first live action Casper movie, where they have Dan Aykroyd playing Ray Stantz from the Ghostbusters, but he has like a mustache, and it's like you could just tell that it was just like a walk-on type of thing, and Dan Aykroyd was just there for the day. And then like he's like, "Who are you gonna call?" Somebody else, and he like looks off the camera and smiles and like runs off, and like you can tell like they were just holding his check, like, "Here you go, Mr. Aykroyd." So it was kind of like that. Kind of reminded me of that. Real quick cameo, pretty much. Probably definitely longer than Dan Aykroyd's in Casper, but still. But Apocalypse just wasn't as intimidating as he is in the comics, in the cartoon. He's like really short, and I think Apocalypse is like 10 foot tall or 9 feet tall in the comics. He's like really super tall and big and intimidating, and Apocalypse was not that in this movie. He didn't really do much. And then he wants to transfer his body into Xavier, and then like they have Xavier on this table ready to do the body transfer or whatever, and it starts happening, and that's how Professor X loses his hair, because of the whole body transfer thing. Gets rid of all his hair falls out, so Apocalypse is all about doing stuff to people's hair, and then Nightcrawler and Angel kind of have another little fight, but then like he teleports Nightcrawler into like this like rubble, this bunch of rubble that's kind of like a cage, kind of looks like a cage the way it's laying there, and he teleports Angel into there and like knocks him out. So he's knocked out for a while, and then um, Storm and Cyclops kind of fight, and then Psylocke shows up because Beast like tries to throw a car at Storm, and Psylocke shows up and cuts it in half, like in the trailer, and she fights Beast a little bit, and then and then they finally save Professor X, and they're in the jet, and it's gonna crash because Psylocke and Angel are messing with it, and Angel gets inside, and then Nightcrawler teleports everybody out of there, and Angel gets in there like too late, and like boom, and they kill off Angel. So I mean, there's like a founding member of the X-Men, not in these movies, but I mean, in the comics, there's a founding member of the X-Men he killed, and who didn't really serve any real purpose in the movie. Um, and Psylocke jumps off, and she like she slides down this building because she puts her like psionic knife or whatever, her sword, through the building, and she's like sliding down it with that. But then she like for some reason falls at the very end and like knocked out. And then Professor X and Apocalypse have this um, mind battle, and Apocalypse goes giant sized. So I don't know if that was Fox's way of like competing with Giant Man in Civil War. Probably wasn't, but I mean, it kind of feels that way. And Apocalypse starts winning, and Professor X was like, "Jean, help me!" And it takes like her a while to actually start helping him. And she's like, "I can't do it," and he's like, "Yeah, you can." He's like, "No, I can't." She's like, "Yeah, you can." He's like, "Okay," and she like turns into the Phoenix a little bit, and like starts like destroying Apocalypse, and Cyclops helps a little bit, and it's still not enough, and then Storm helps, and then like he gets like destroyed. Oh, and I forgot about the whole Magneto scene where he's like destroying the Earth, and Mystique and Quicksilver try to tell him to stop because Quicksilver reveals that he's Magneto's son, and, and all that, and he kind of like thinks about like what you said, and he thinks about all the times that Professor X has helped him, and they're good buddies, and he needs to stop doing what he's doing and be good guys, and he ends up helping him. He ends up protecting the X-Men, and Quicksilver kind of beats up Apocalypse a little bit earlier before like everything I've talked about. I know I kind of went out of order, but he kind of beats up Apocalypse, and then Apocalypse like breaks his leg, but and Beast saves him. So then Jean is using her Phoenix power to destroy Apocalypse. Cyclops is helping. Storm is helping. Beast tries to help, but doesn't really do much. But he saves Quicksilver, and then so Apocalypse gets destroyed, and you're kind of like whatever. And then they're in the danger room at the end, and they got like the costumes that are kind of cool because they're kind of reminiscent of the 90s costumes, 90s X-Men comic book costumes, and they're gonna fight Sentinels in the danger room, and it's kind of cool. And I don't know if it excites me for another movie. I mean, it'd be cool if they keep using those costumes or those suits. But I mean, other than that, this movie is just kind of like whatever. Like, it's just so like, I was like, it's kind of like, okay, well that happened, and it's just like, it's not really, tremendously awesome to me, and it's not like bad, but it's just kind of like there. It just kind of exists. Um, and I don't know what else to say. It's just kind of a whatever type of movie, and uh, yeah, like I don't know. I'm kind of like done with the whole 20th Century Fox X-Men cinematic universe, and definitely don't want to see Bryan Singer direct another movie. He's like one of my most disliked directors ever. I don't really like him. I never have really. Um, so he could go away. And I don't know. This movie's just kind of whatever. And I know I said about like 10 times, 10 million times. But I mean, it is. It's not really. It's not as cool. It's definitely not as cool as Civil War. And I like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows more than I like X Men Apocalypse. So I think that sums it all up. But let me know what you guys think about X Men Apocalypse in the comment section below. Did you love it? Did you like it? Did you think it was just whatever like me? Um, are you excited to see more X Men movies? Are you done with seeing these X Men movies? Do you want Marvel and Disney to buy the rights to the X Men movies? Uh, yeah, the X Men film rights. Do you want that to happen? I want that to happen. So let me know how you guys feel in the comment section, and like and subscribe if you want to, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace out.